Disclaimer, you need basic electrical skills at least to do this job. I am not responsible for anything that goes wrong while doing this job, and you will lose the use of your tape wire after performing this job. Alright, here's the start of my project to hardwire my iPod audio signal into my car's stereo. I start by getting this at Radio Shack. It's called, so you know exactly what it's called, so you can pick it up at the store yourself if you want to do this. 6-foot shielded Y adapter audio cable. It's got 1/8-inch stereo headphone plug on one side, and it's got the red and white RCA cables on the other side. I also got, this comes in a pack of 4, solder type phono jack. That's these. Comes with 2 black ones and 2 red ones. These plug in to these wires. Like so. So, basically I'm going to plug this into the iPod. These are going to go back behind the radio where these 2 things are going to plug into them. And these actually unscrew. Hold on. The back unscrews. Got a place for the wire to go through it. Here's the plug side. Here's sort of the wires too. So basically, I'll plug this into here, into this red one. I'm gonna solder 2 wires to it. The little nub there, that little contact is for the right positive, and this big one is for the right negative. Actually, this is exactly how it goes. See the section. This is separated by 3 sections of 2 black lines. Is 3 sections. The top section is left positive. The middle section is right positive, and the bottom section is left and right negative. On the RCA cables, the middle, this red on the middle here is right positive. This outer ring is right negative, and then the same for the white, except it's left, so it's left positive, this nub, and then this outer ring is left negative. So basically, these 2 pieces here, that little stub goes into the middle where the positive plugs in, so that's how I know this is going to be right positive, the little nub, and then the big nub will be right negative, and then the same if I unscrew this black one, the left positive and the left negative. What I'm going to do is I'm going to solder 2 wires to here, take this off, solder 2 wires to there, and then from there I'm going to take those 2 short pieces of wire and I'm going to crimp them into the wiring in the car, because I'd rather not do any soldering in car, just to avoid accidentally burning or destroying other wiring in there, because I'm not that good at soldering, and crimps are usually the preferred method on interior car wiring. At least that's what Ford likes better anyway. So now all I need to do is get the crimps that I need and some electrical tape. Oh yes, and a little bit of wiring to solder to here. Alright, here we are. I've soldered all the wires into these connectors. I color-coded them just so I'd understand. And I ohmed them all out to make sure that my solders were secure. They were all 0.3 ohms or less, which isn't the best. My soldering skills aren't the best right now. I need to improve on them. But Ford specifications for all their wiring is 0.5 ohms or less. So it's, as far as Ford is concerned, good. So as far as I'm concerned right now, it's alright. And then I have the soldering is in there. Like I said, I was going to solder to those 2 metal nubs coming out. And then I have the wires running out here. And then I just put this electrical tape so I'd understand it. And there were a kind of crimp that I wanted to use, but I couldn't find them anyway. So I just ended up using butt connectors. So I crimped on butt connectors to each part of the wire. put some electrical tape around the ends there because I left too much wire out. And I didn't feel like cutting it. And I wanted to color code it anyway. So, now I want to take these 4 wires and crimp them into their corresponding wires in the car. Here is the wiring diagram. Let me zoom out and move in closer, maybe it won't be blurry. Yeah, it's not gonna blur. This dotted line, dash line area is the integrated control panel. These 4 wires here are the audio wires. So basically you have the right positive, right negative, left positive, and left negative going to the rear chassis unit. The right positive is dark blue with a white stripe. The right negative is just a solid gray wire. The left positive is a brown wire with a light green stripe. And the left negative wire is a white wire with a pink stripe. And the connector on the integrated control panel, this would be if you unplug the connector and looked at the side of it that the wires aren't coming out of. There's pin 1, 2, 9, and 10. And those are the 4 pins that those wires go into. Pin 1 is the dark blue and white with the white stripe, which for some reason it says dark green with a white there, but it's just a typo. Number 2 is the gray wire. 9 is the brown light green. And 10 is the white and pink. Now, I know this is true for 96 through 98 Tauruses. I'm not sure about the 99. It might be the same. I think it was a little bit different. I can't remember. I was looking through all the diagrams. If you have a 2000 and up, you can still do this, because it still has a rear chassis unit in a control panel, but you're going to have to look up the wiring diagrams for that, because it's going to be, the wires and the connector and everything are going to be different. And that's all there is to it. I just got to go to these 4 wires, cut them at the connector at the control panel, strip them a little bit, and then crimp them into those butt connectors. And then I just got to feed this lead, I'm going to feed it down behind the panel, down through a little hole that goes down into the ashtray. It's where the wiring for the light in the ashtray is in the front. And then this is just going to sit in the ashtray, and then I'll plug my iPod into it when I need to. Either it'll sit in the ashtray or it'll hang out or whatever I want to do. And I got rid of those 2 shitty tapes I had that I was testing with my tape player before. So when I hook up my iPod, what I'm going to do is, if I can even find where I just put it, well, at the moment I don't know where I put it, but I'm going to use that cassette tape adapter for now and just run it in the tape player to test it. But I want it to look clean and not have a big wire hanging out of the tape player, so I am going to go find a nice long tape that I can get to just sit in the tape player and play to make the tape player happy so that it sends a signal across the audio communication line to the rear chassis unit. So the rear chassis unit says, hey, the tape player is working, so it takes in the signal that is going to be coming from my iPod through this and through the car's wiring. Not much left to do here except for crimp them in and test it. Well, and cut the wiring. One thing I did forget to mention is this wiring diagram, it does not show what gauge the wire is. I believe it's 18 gauge. I'm not 100%, so the wire I used is 16 gauge just to be safe because it's bigger. Gauge numbers, if you don't know, works backwards. 18 gauge is smaller than 16 gauge. 16 gauge is smaller than 14 gauge, so on and so forth. How about that wire that I used right there, the red one? That are on my big extension lead.